This season, we're bringing you the real stories of Huntsville entrepreneurs.
From the mess to the breakthrough, we're showing you the whole journey.
And why it matters for every dreamer in the Rocket City. For Levi, the law isn't just about contracts and court, it's about protecting what matters most, family and legacy. It's a bold dream, but with big vision comes bigger fear.
In the beginning, I decided to go to law school because I wanted to help families. I chose to go to Michigan State University, where they have a Chance at Childhood clinic, and there they pair law students and social work students together so that we can learn both sides of it and really learn how to help families. When I told people that I was going to do family law, all the attorneys told me I was crazy and I would get burnt out. I thought that was ridiculous, that family law was my passion, and it turns out family law itself was not my passion. Helping families is my passion. Estate planning was kind of on my radar, but I didn't really feel like it helped people the same way that family law would. And then something happened in my own family, and I almost lost my wife, and we had a very young child. And it was in that moment that I realized that literally anything can happen to anyone at any time. If something were to happen to both me and my son's mom, we need a plan in place so that he goes to the people that we want to raise him instead of just someone that the judge chooses. Some of the things that I've learned in the 10 years that I've been in business is you have to spend money to make money. You have to invest in yourself, in your employees, in systems, invest in your product. The vision that I have for Legal Journeys in the future is to have a firm that has 5 main divisions: estate planning, elder law, probate and trust administration, special needs planning, and business planning. People need to make sure that they are protected. A lot of times, you will need planning in several different areas during your lifetime. You may start out with regular estate planning, having a will, power of attorney, healthcare directive. Later, you may need a trust or more advanced strategies. Special needs planning if you have a special needs child, or you need elder law planning for your parents, or eventually you need elder law planning for yourself so that you can keep your assets out of the hands of Medicaid and into the hands of your family and your loved ones. And with your business, you need to make sure that if something happens to you, your business can continue to run, especially if you have employees and you have clients who depend on you. You need to make sure that you have your business lined up so that it can continue serving those people. I don't want to just be a lawyer. I want to be someone who is going to be a guide through my clients' lives. No matter what is happening, no matter what's going on, what stage of life they're in, I want to be there for them. I can't do this on my own. I can't personally run every single one of those divisions and give my clients the attention that they need and that they deserve. I can only serve so many people, and every single person needs to be protected. And so I have to grow this company.
Okay, growth is hard. Change is hard. If you don't have something bigger than just, I just want to grow, it's not enough to really step through the pain.
If you don't have that emotional reason, that why, what happens?
You start drinking.
You start drinking. Yep.
Definitely.
And you quit.
You
and
quit
you give
the
up.
work, but you keep the drinking.
But you keep the drink. How long in the future is this 5 different divisions of the business? Like
when is that going to be?
I think 2030.
By 2030.
So 5 years. Basically, I came to a fork in the road. Either I just plateau and stay where we are, but the reality is I have more people to reach, and there are people with more problems that I can help solve, but I can't do that at the current level.
I don't know that in business or life really that you could just plateau. Like really, I think that's kind of a little bit of a fallacy.
I think it would like
growing.
Stop and start.
It's not just a matter of
back.
like we made it and we're done and like flick it in onto cruise control. Even if you weren't trying to like build this vision, there's always the craziness and
I do agree. There's the roller coaster. Life is always evolving. Technology is evolving. So even if we wanted to just stay at the level that we are, yes, we would still have to. We would have to innovate. We would have to change.
I heard something once, and it was like life is hard. Doesn't matter which direction you go in, it's hard. So pick your heart.
What feels the most difficult or hard for you in stepping into this?
What feels the hardest to me is knowing where to go from here. Because I haven't been there myself, I can't lead a team of people to that level.
I'm glad that you've had enough experiences at this point that you see the value in bringing people in. Because a lot of times small businesses just like, I'm just going to figure it out first myself. Okay, fine. Sure is a long game about it.
And what's the reservation there? Because I think sometimes people don't want others to see them stumble and make mistakes.
It's hard for me to ask of someone to do something that I don't really understand myself. It's not that I don't want to be seen as that way. I just don't want to put someone else through that pain of, okay, yeah, we don't know. Now we're going to lock arms and we'll be in pain together. Like,
well, so we pulled in the experts, Megan Chitwood with BNI Alabama. What kind of a plan can we build for Levi to get him through this next stage?
Welcome. Megan. Welcome, Megan. Welcome. Pardon me, Dana. Excuse you guys.
Pardon the reach.
Nice to see you.
So this is an interesting one for me because I am only like 6 to 9 months ahead of you in the same type of journey, the exact same type of journey. So I'm going to share with you what direction I decided to go to see if it might be a good fit for you. You have amazing mentorship in how to market and build a legal business, period. You already have that. I think you need to try to diversify the accountability within your team. Because as we talked about it, you really hold a lot of the accountability and you've got to spread that out or else there's no way you're going to be able to get the growth that you ultimately want to get.
What does that mean? Diversify the accountability. That feels, that's so buzzy.
Well,
I don't know, how do I do that?
To be a little crass, this is what I say. There has to be one throat to choke on every aspect of the business that you're trying to adjust.
Which one is yours?
Just choke my throat. We just start there and we'll figure it out.
Exactly. Even on my team, we'll talk about it and it'll be, and I.
Whose throat is it?
Who's the throat to choke on this particular thing? Because that's the person who's going to ultimately make it.
You need champions. You need somebody that's going to step
up. That's a little bit nicer way.
It is a nicer way.
I really need you to champion this. So if it goes awry, I know who to choke.
Exactly. But it's like who's going to be ultimately accountable for it. What the tricky part of that is you have to make sure that you've got the vision well established so that everybody knows exactly where you're going and everybody knows and you have a collaborative way of making that plan. The tool I chose to use for this is the EOS system. It's the Entrepreneur's Operating System. You can absolutely self-implement in 5 years. I also heard you say you're willing to invest in things. So I invested. I wanted to hire a facilitator to help facilitate the entire process. We might be in the middle of our 3rd quarter of doing this whole
So that's
system.
the 6 to 9 months you were
That's
saying.
The 6 to 9 months. That's a little further ahead. Like I said,
So by the end of the summer, we'll see where Megan ends up.
Right.
What will happen next?
And there are several things you can get done by the end of the summer. What we have found as we were doing it is, there's a lot of things that I found doing it. One, being a leader and letting go is really challenging. And I mean, you have the ownership. So an example of this was Steve is our director of operations. Steve was responsible for building the team that supports all of the chapters. I literally only had veto power. He sent me the list. These are the people I'm going to hire.
Where were you like, but how's it going?
Oh, so we have created the construct to be able to talk about those things. So it wasn't like I was completely blindfolded, but it was absolutely his job and his responsibility, and I didn't have to do it. We built a team faster than I would have ever done it, and now I'm like, how did we even operate before this? And it's so nice to not be the one carrying all the weight of all things. However, it also can be somewhat unnerving because you're like
terrifying.
Someone else is going to do things of consequence within the
your business,
within my exactly. And it's like, okay, so and then when they screw it all up.
But would you agree that this is part of the transition of being the sole proprietor? What is this business level where we've got the kind of side job, we move into, we are the CEO. What is this level?
I think every business can get to $1 million in about the same way.
Yeah.
right?
Just
like
duct tape,
just
and I've
will
seen it. Yeah.
and I need to do
Bubble
some
gum.
marketing, and I
Yeah.
need to have my.
Duct tape and stuff can get you to like 300 to $500,000. From $500,000 to $1 million, you've got to have systems and processes that are starting to work.
Yes.
Right.
Which I would say you got from the system that you're using on the legal marketing piece
Right.
that got you there. Now we've got to start being able to be more nimble and not have to do all of it ourselves. I can't be the bottleneck anymore.
So you still continue to do it all yourself up to $1 million?
No,
I thought it would
no,
end
but
before
it's
that.
I don't think you need a system. I don't think you need a system. I think you can figure it out. I got to the point where I was like, okay, I can keep growing like I'm growing, or we can see if we can take a leap. And as you have mentioned, the leader has to be able to take the leap. So I'm doing a lot of John Maxwell, that, right? It's like the law of the lid. I have to keep developing all of those kinds of things. But then I needed the tactile systems. The component that I think is probably missing is what they call traction. And that is, what are we doing every single week to move towards the goal? Instead of, we're all generally moving in that direction.
And so
explain
if
this
you
a little.
have the traction, then you can have accountability with the leadership.
Correct.
And you can
Got
choke
it.
them.
You can choke them because you said,
they didn't
here's the
do.
Well,
things.
because they said these are the things I'm going to do. And so
they
when
have
when
buy-in.
they don't do it,
When they don't do
then
it.
then we can have a discussion.
Isn't that kind of insane though, that it's something so simple as like being able to step forward and manage your activities? Like it kind of always comes back to that, doesn't it?
It
In a
does.
way, like isn't it always sort of in that fundamental component of being able to say, I'm going to do these steps in this time frame, and now I'm going to go and I'm just going to do them.
And I think that can get you to $1 million. I'm going to do them. And now you've got to have, okay, now I've got this purview and this whole team who's doing all of the things.
Yeah,
All right.
I'll stop
So that's
interrupting.
the
I
operating
wanna-
system.
yeah.
Are
So that
there
is it.
others? Like,
There are others. This one just made simple sense to me, whereas some of the others was like it felt too
like
complicated.
too much.
Absolutely.
You had me
Yeah.
at simple.
Simple.
Yeah, simple.
Let's-
So it has 6 components. So first, creating the vision. Where are we going? Making sure everybody understands 10-year, 3-year, 1-year plan. What is that plan? Always reevaluating what that plan is. Then it's repeating that plan. Like, here's where we're going. Remember, everyone, this is where we're going. So it's creating that vision and knowing we're all going in that direction. So then you can measure the things that you're not going to do. Those things are not getting us in this direction, and that gives you that litmus test. The second one is right people, right seats. Yeah, I think you've already said a flavor of that, but it's just making sure that you have the right people in the right seats, and then having that knowing their culture fit. So we are constantly measuring people against our core values, and then they're measuring it against what they actually get accomplished. So we know it's also getting accomplished and being done the right way as we go through. And this part might have been the hardest part because you think you've got the right people and then you start moving in that direction super quickly and you realize not the right person. And sometimes that can get super messy, all those kinds of things. But it's always nice to know.
But there are
we know.
indicators to
That's
know
exactly what I wanted to know.
not the right
Did
person.
you just ignore the red flags, Megan? Is that what
Well, I
happened?
didn't have the measurement tool, right? I didn't have the well-defined, we are going to measure everyone off of our core values. Once I started measuring off of the core values, it was
It was clear.
very
It was
clear.
Yeah.
But I wasn't measuring against the core values, and I was only measuring on, can they get it done? Are they willing to get it done? There's one that I love about this is you create a scorecard that if I was on a deserted island and I only got this scorecard, would I know if my business is doing well or not?
I love it. I love it. Right?
If
Like,
I was on a
easy-
deserted island,
yeah.
at least my business. Oh, look, I got my report. They dropped it off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the mailbox, right by the
Yeah.
coconut tree.
And I know business
Yes,
is doing
it's good.
well.
I can be deserted. It's fine.
Business is doing well or business is not doing well. It sounds so simple, but like really working on
Reading it.
what-
sales,
Yeah.
marketing, operations, like all of the
Are
pieces.
you measuring
We are.
those things? All of those things?
We do measure the. We just
He's like,
institute-
oh, definitely.
Definitely,
more.
but we
Yes, we
Well,
measure
yeah,
everything.
it's
We're getting
always
better
the
at
work. We're
measuring
getting better.
things.
We have very specific things that we measure, and we just started measuring other things within the last 2 weeks. And so,
Do we
I
know? Does the U.S. tell us what to measure?
Not specifically because every business is different. What are the things that need to be
What are the
measured to know if it's
drivers?
Heather?
So there's
That is helpful.
work to like think through your own business with it. So looking back, do you wish you had been measuring?
of course,
Yeah.
yes. Yes, I wish
So-
we had
so-
been measuring for the past 10 years.
If you, yeah, bro.
Yeah,
like,
bro.
No, do you know what, Dana? Okay. I have friends.
Every
I have friends.
Every person in business needs a scorecard.
Yeah.
Even if you're the solopreneur who's doing, you need to know, like, what are the activities that I should be doing, because it just helps you focus. And
Yeah,
making
I need
sure
your
that you know what's
scorecard, okay?
I'm trying.
I'm gonna need you
okay.
to report.
Somebody, Jackie, I need a scorecard. We'll handle it offline.
So the fourth component is issues. Being able to solve issues, coming together as a team and just identifying what is the issue, what's the root cause of the issue, fix the issue. And then that creates your to-do lists on what am I doing over the next week. Once you get everyone identifying and talking about what is the issue and how do we solve it, now everybody starts taking ownership and feels like they're really part of the ultimate solution. So then everybody just gets into the habit of solving the right problems.
It feels like a mind shift around issues in general.
You create a tolerance of issues when you don't have this habit. We talk about issues for an hour every single week to say, what's the issue? So everyone can bring the issue, we can discuss it, we can solve the problem.
Is an hour enough?
It is enough.
I just feel like an hour wouldn't be enough, Dana. Like, we're going to need like 3 or 4 hours probably.
It's amazing how quickly you can get into the habit, because it's kind of like everybody has a say and then decisions.
And I wonder, the way you're talking about it, I wonder if there's like a certain level, like there's a degree of like, let's work it out together. But there's also, it sounds like there's a degree of like, this is my lane.
Yeah.
Stay in the lane.
Well,
Stay lane.
So, okay, I'm trying.
And there are certain times people would look at me and say, okay, what's the final decision? Because they're the business owner. And it's like, well, actually, that's Steve's call, or that's Vicky's call,
Yeah.
or that's Robin's call, or that's Michelle's call, right?
Yeah.
Or what do you think? Okay,
Uh-huh.
I'm just going to go with that.
That's a
because you
Dana
know
question.
more.
That's what I say. That's a Dana question. That's a Dana
Yeah.
question.
I don't know if you've heard of the 1-3-1, where someone brings you an issue, they are also supposed to bring you 3 possible solutions and what their recommendation is.
So that kind of ends up happening in this whole.
Okay.
So you bring, here's the problem. What do you think the solution is? And then it's like, wait, that impacts me this way. So then you start working, because a lot of times it impacts more than just the one person who's trying to make the decision.
Right.
So we just identify, discuss it, and solve it. When we're talking about like the executive team, that is better when it's, I think, an individual contributor.
Mhm.
Like, don't just bring me your problem.
I do that with Nathan, my son. When he comes to me, I'm like, don't bring me your problems. Like, what are the solutions? He's 9. He's getting better at it. I'm going to use the 1-3-1 though. 3 solutions or don't come knocking, bro.
Well, and I actually learned that in my Chevron days when I first got started. You had to explore all the options to solve the problem. So you'd have the expensive option, and the cheap option, and this option, that, and it just forced you to think about what are all the ways we could solve it.
Usually the more expensive, the faster, right? So what do we got more of, time or money? Like,
Well, good, fast, or cheap. Pick 2.
Yeah.
Right? That's the
Yeah.
option. Good,
Yeah.
good, fast, or cheap. Pick 2.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we've talked about vision, people, data, issues, then process. What is the process? Just making sure that everybody knows how do we get the thing done. And then it's traction. So this is where you're building the discipline. You have quarterly rocks that everybody picks. This is what I'm doing for this quarter. You are responsible for getting that project done in the quarter. And then my favorite is the weekly meeting. We go over the scorecard. We talk about what's going well, both personally and professionally. So we always are checking in with each other on how things are going. We go into the scorecard. We go through our to-dos, our quarterly rocks. Then we have all of our issues. So everything is always moving forward, and everybody's always focused on what's most important. I'm going to tell you, in our first quarter, I think we got more done than I had gotten done in the previous 3 years.
what do you think the biggest shift was? It just getting clarity and communicating it out, having people own their stuff? Like, what was the biggest?
Well, I think it's having everybody own their stuff, and then also everybody having the ownership of like, this is what I need next. So I don't have to be everywhere. You don't have to be everywhere, because everybody's
You're
going to
the
be
bottleneck
bringing
if it's that way.
everybody's going to be bringing this is the right thing, the next thing that we ultimately have to do. And the reason why I really like it for you is it's literally what is the what habits that we have to that have to be adjusted, because you can be super nimble on this. It can be like, okay, we're not worried about that right now. Okay, we've gotten this to this spot and it's going really, really well. Now we can take this to this whole next level. I mean, we have things in place now that I didn't even know were possible, because
amazing.
the right person in the right seat.
And you didn't have to do it. Like,
Right.
Is that your knee-jerk spreadsheet?
Well,
That's where you start.
I mean, it was kind of a,
so he's like, she gets all
100%.
nerdy and excited. She's like, I made a spreadsheet, and I'm like, oh god, no, please
Yeah.
don't. I don't want to look at. That's really
Have
cool,
Lamar
Dana, but I
introduce you to
can't.
Airtable. We will rock your world. But it's just like I said, it's just having other people that bring
Okay,
to the
this
table.
is
So
very,
what do you
this is
feel-
abstract flavor. Hang
yeah,
on. I
okay,
need
but
specifics.
so
What's he
what
gonna
about?
do?
Yeah, what? How does
Go now.
So how do we do
Go now and do a
Right.
thing.
So I really want you to take a deep dive into this system. There is a book called Get a Grip. is a fable of a business that implemented this.
Mhm.
And then you can get into traction, and there's online trainings and all those kind of things. I work with a guy out of Birmingham, Brock. He has helped us implement it. So he comes in and facilitates every part of the process for us in the first year, so that then we know how to do it really, really well. And then we'll be able to take it from there. Read the book as quick as possible. And then,
Yeah. I want to know though, do you
Exactly.
have kind of like a short list of like next for choking? Do you have some ideas? For
no.
How does everything flow? Does it all flow to you? Is she right in that?
It was all flowing to me until shortly before my head injury. I had started releasing certain parts of it, and then I had my head injury, and I was forced.
You kind of did
Life
it
was
for
like-
you.
Yeah.
Life is like, it seems like you're a little too
Here.
involved there, pal.
Let me fix that for you.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. And so then I unwillingly handed over everything because I had no choice. And when I came back at full capacity, I only took back certain things. And the person that I put in the position of doing that, she willingly stepped in and took over, but she was trying to do her job as well as do everything that I was doing.
Wait a second.
And I put way too much on
She
her.
was doing what you had been doing all along, trying to do 15 different jobs. That's so unreasonable to put on somebody.
She seemed to be doing great. Occasionally she would make a comment about how overwhelmed she was, and I was like, yep, I remember that. She finally came to me and told me this, and when I created this task list of everything in the office and I saw how much longer her spreadsheet was than
Yeah.
everyone else's,
Yeah.
I felt terrible. But then I was also focused on the new things, like growing the second part of the business. I literally just today issued a public apology to her in front of other staff members because I had put so much on her.
Take some of that stuff off her plate, and then maybe also buy her lunch probably.
Right.
The other part of this that I think is awesome under the people piece that is getting your team together and saying, what does our org chart need to look like? Then you create the accountabilities for the job, not thinking about the person. So everybody gets fired. We build the
Now
org
we'll
chart.
have a new. You get
Ooh, I
to
wanna create
interview
that.
for your
Yeah, we
new.
have a new org chart. We have new accountability.
When you said you put their name and then you can write fired at the end, I saw our org chart and I saw Dana's name, and I just felt so excited.
Right, fired.
And I just looked at her in my head, like, look, Dana, look what I'm writing here. Somebody's fired.
We have a new org chart, we have new accountability, and you really need to think about, okay, what does today look like, but also what does 5 years look like? You know, how many people can report to one person without it becoming too overwhelming? One rule of thumb was 5, and then another was 7. You can only adequately lead. You get really honest about that org chart. Like, I remember looking at someone and going like, if I'm in that box and you're in that box, we're never going to get anything done. I need somebody in that box that will manage me so that this stuff gets done. And then, do you want the job? Do you understand how to do it? And then, do you have the capacity to do it?
You have the skill set and you want to do it and you have the capacity.
Yes.
Well, I think it's perfect timing because Levi was just sharing with me before that he just brought on another attorney
That's right.
into his practice. Wait.
It was last Monday while I was at the beach. We were negotiating duties and hours and salary.
And when do they start?
She started last Monday.
Okay.
So we were
And this makes
negotiating.
there's 3 of you now. Then.
Yes.
So
Yes.
three out of 5, right? Or are you one of the 5?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Initially, I thought I would be.
'Cause you'll
That's
be
good. He's
kind
a
of
terrible
the
attorney. No, not
visionary.
really. Not really. He's amazing. Wow. Okay, that's moving fast.
That
Good.
is.
Yeah, very
That
good.
is. 5 years seems like
Maybe a little
too
bit
far
of a
out.
soft
Like
plan.
it feels soft.
I thought
It
about
feels-
saying 3.
What's your problem?
Yeah.
Say 1. 6 months.
I mean, by the end of the year.
No,
so.
like,
Okay, so the book. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
But
So
come
like
on.
let's
And
think
they
what
were
Come
6
on,
weeks.
you can
well,
do more
what
than
can
that
we
in 6 weeks.
what
So what
kind
can
of
we do?
traction can we make in 6 to 8 weeks?
So there are 3 tools. The Vision Traction Organizer. So where are we going and what direction are we going? We definitely build out the work chart.
Compared to where you think you are, like what is speaking to you?
yeah, I love the vision. I love coming up with the core values. I have tried this a few times myself. My team, we've all sat down together and we've done some, but we are looking to dial them in a little bit more. So I think that's going to be helpful.
Part of creating that org chart is also doing the job description for each one. Like it's not just, oh, I have a pretty chart.
Getting the job description is like a little overwhelming. What are the 5 things that this person has to be able to do?
5 top priorities that have to be able to happen on a regular basis.
But it sounds like you've got a lot of that because you were talking about your list that you overwhelmed.
Yes, exactly.
It has more than 5 things?
Yes, hers had 153.
153?
Yes.
So several. A few more
Several.
than 5.
Right, a few more than 5.
Can we challenge you
Will
that
you
all
do
of
it?
those are complete by the time we do our wrap session?
The vision,
Core
Core
values.
values.
core values,
Org chart.
Org chart.
the org charts,
And
then
the-
KPIs.
Yeah.
Okay,
And the
yes.
KPIs, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
All of this is done and in place. What difference has it made for you?
It's going to provide clarity for my team. It's going to have us all unified on the same page, in the same boat, rowing in the same direction. And when we all have that same vision, we're going to be locked in, and this thing is going to be great.
Let's go. Lock it in. Lock it. Okay. Sorry, that was me. That's my
I
bad.
love it.
Now look into that camera lens and say you're going to do
I'm going to
it.
do
I'm
this.
going to do this.
It felt like I wasn't getting anywhere. I was stuck and wondering what I was doing wrong. If I can't find the right people to step in and do what is needed, then this isn't going to work. It feels like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It's like every time we get a win, we're just waiting for something else to go wrong.
We started looking toward retirement. Just take a breath, relax, like everything's going to be okay. If we don't increase in business, we will have to put Magnolia Creek on the market.